Hello guys, this is my presentation, overview of image segmentation with AI, and that's my name, João Pedro Poloni Ponce. Here is our agenda, so I plan to talk a bit of myself, some definitions of what is image segmentation, then we talk about AI, some concepts and some learning things about AI, how it's applied on image segmentation, and by the end I have two and a half demos. One is more to show how it works, and the other is more applying the concepts. So, a bit of myself. That's me, João Pedro, but everybody calls me JP. I'm 29 years old. I'm from São Paulo, Brazil. I'm an information engineer, and I'm currently working as a software engineer at Red Hat. Now, let's start with some definitions. So, what is image segmentation? Well, basically, let's start with us humans trying to segment this image. So, let's start with this. What can you see in this image? Well, we have a bus, we have a car, we have a building, a street, tree, a sky. We have some things in this picture. And when we talk about image segmentation, we first try to identify what objects we have in this picture, and then we start pointing, like, where is the bus? Like, the bus, it's over here, and the car here, and the tree over the bus, and the building here, and the sky over the tree, and here the street. So the process to segment an image, as we humans try to do, is first classify the objects in the image, identify what we have, and trying to understand like what is a bus, what is a car, what is a building, what is a street, what is a tree, and what is a sky, for example. And then we start finding the borders of those objects, like where is the bus? The bus is located here. Where is the car? The car is located here. Where is the tree? The tree is located there. Where is the building? The building is here. And this is how we humans do this kind of work. And what we are trying to do is just pass this ability to machines. So first, classify, and then find the borders. And when we talk about segment an image, what we want is start on this image, the usual image, and we want this output, the segmented things. So the street in pink, the bus in red, the car also in red, the building in yellow, the tree in green, and the sky in blue. That's what we want. In other words, image segmentation is the process to identify the object in a picture and find its borders. Image segmentation is also a branch of computer vision research that aims to give the ability to machines to find, classify the objects, and try to find its border. So in simple words, that's the best definition I was able to find. So now, let's talk about some AI stuff. When I first think about AI, what comes to my mind is those science fiction robots, like the HAL 9000 from 2001, or Marvin from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and Tarzan Case for Interstellar. But this is basically science fiction, and the reality is not like this. What we have in reality is an abstraction called model that stores the algorithm for AI learning and a set of properties that we can define the learning rate and other properties related to this algorithm. And every time I talk about model, I'm talking about the AI algorithm and their properties to... I'm talking about the AI algorithm and their properties. And how this algorithm can learn. We have some learning types that we divide those algorithms. First, we have the supervised learning. The supervised learning is when we provide the data to our algorithm, and this data is already annotated. So, for example, a spreadsheet, we have a spreadsheet with four columns of data, and we have the last column a class of what means that data. So column 1 is, for example, 1, column 2 is, for example, 3, column 4 is true, and the last column, the classified object, is like false. The output of this data I expect it to be false, and go on line by line. If we have to make an analogy, this kind of learning is like you are in a school and your teacher is teaching you some lesson and it's only passing to you the concept and you are just absorbing and learning by example. However, we also have the unsupervised learning. The unsupervised learning, we don't classify the data. We just give the data to our model and we expect our model to separate this data in categories. And here, one of the properties our model has is how many categories do I want to split my data. So here I define 1, 2, 3, 4, how many categories I want, and I also can call it as a cluster. And basically what my models try to do is separate the data. So I have a 1,000-line spreadsheet, and basically it's reading line by line and separating. So line 1, I think it's cluster 3. Line 2, I think it's cluster 1. That's the idea of the model. What the model tries to do in unsupervised learning is actually find similarities between the data. And we have to make an analogy here is like a scientist exploring the world in a branch of knowledge that we don't have much knowledge about, and it's basically trying to find patterns and separate the data. The other type of learning is reinforcement learning, which is pretty good when we want, we have a situation like, for example, a robot, and we want the robot get out of this maze. And reinforcement learning, it takes an initial strategy, and then if the strategy is going correct, we try to reward the model in a way that it can learn from this. Here the analogy is like you are training your pet. For example, you're training your dog to give the palm, to pretend to be dead, to sit, things like this. Now I want to talk about some AI structures. AI structures, I mean, it's the algorithm that we can use to teach our artificial intelligence model. And we can spend years talking about AI structures, but I want to present to you what we, two structures that we have that are most well known and very spread use, which is the artificial neural network, this one here. The blue circles is an artificial neuron. Here is the input layer. So here I have 4 artificial neurons, and it means, for example, if I have a spreadsheet with 4 columns, each column is the input of 1 neuron. And at the end, we have the output neuron. Here I have 1, but it can be more. It can be 2, 3, 4, whatever I want, the data I want to classify. And here in the middle, we have we call the hidden layers. When we talk about AI, there are some names that we talk like machine learning, deep learning. Usually, we say a model, an artificial neural network, is a deep learning when we have more than 20 hidden layers in the middle. It's not actually a rule, it's more a convention that neural networks with more than 20 layers we call deep learning. But yeah, this one, for example, is a machine learning. And the idea is to input data at the beginning, have the output data at the end of the network. If it is a supervised learning, we can measure the distance between the output, the expected output, and the output of our model, and we can propagate the error in order to make our network learn. But this network, as you can see, is a very small one, and it's a very good to classify data in a spreadsheet, for example. Here we can input a spreadsheet with 4 columns. But when we're talking about images, images is a multi-dimensional data, and an image has a length and a height. And what we want to classify here, what we want to insert in our network is the pixel. So in one image of 10 by 10, for example, we have 100 pixels in this image. And an image of 10 by 10 is a very small image. And for high resolution images, we can have more than 1 million pixels. And we don't want to put 1 million pixels at the beginning of our image. And thinking that this is only one image, and what we want is to insert more than one image. We want 100, 1,000 images in our network. So thinking about that, we have the convolutional neural network, which works pretty fine with image data. And the idea is to use the convolutional operator of math over the image and try to extract and highlight only the features that are important for this image, And the convolutional layer, it actually acts as a filter. So we have our big image here, for example, the first image, the car, the bus, the street, the tree, the sky, the building. And with our convolutional layer, we can actually extract from this image what is the building, at least highlight what features make the building, what features make the bus, what features make the street, and what features make the sky, for example. We don't need the whole image, we just need part of this image. That's why we use the convolutional layer. And when we use convolutional layers, we actually reduce the dimension of the image. So if we start with an image of 10 by 10, after some layers, we have an image of, I don't know, 2 by 2, for example. And the 2 by 2 image, we can actually pass in a dense layer, which is the normal artificial neural network. And then we can classify this image. Okay, so now we know about some AI structures, some that we use for images. And now let's try to apply these AI structures into image segmentation problem. Again, there's a lot of image segmentation structures. Actually, it appears a new structures every day, and we can spend months talking about this. But what I want to present to you is the two structures that are most used, and they are actually the benchmark of a significant part of research, which is the ResNet, which stands for Residual Network. It was published back in 2015. And as you can see, the ResNet, it's a deep learning network because it has a lot of layers. The image starts here at the top and finish here. And what we want of the network is to input our usual image, and at the end, we have the segmented image in the same dimensions of the input image. The idea of the ResNet is to use the convolutional layers to extract information from the image, highlight what is important of the objects we have there and how to segment, and to keep the dimension the same as the input, we have some checkpoints between layers that we save the output image of this layer, for example, and we can use this checkpoint in another layer, in a layer ahead, to increase the dimension and also segment the image we have. The idea is basically, okay, I extracted things from previous layers, now I need to increase my dimension. I can use an image I used before, and I can match the information of the image in the layers backwards with the actual layer, and then I can find more information and segment these things. Here I have other AI structure, which is called UNet. It receives its name because of its shape, the shape of an U. This network, it's called an encoder-decoder. The encoder-decoder, the idea is we have one branch that only extracts information from the network, extracting features, extracting the important features of the image. And with these features, we try to construct a new image in the decoder branch, this one here, and we try to build a new image based on the features we extract. That's the idea of encoder-decoder structure. The UNet, we have some residual steps as in the ResNet, like for example, in the first layer we have these convolutional layers, and then we save the output of this layer, reduce the dimension, again, more convolutional layers, and then we save the image here, and this process go on and on. At the end, we have all these features, the features extracted here, and we start to recreating our image. So here, we use the image produced here, and increase the dimension, combine the feature with the output of a previous layer, and the process go on and on and on until we have an output image segmented with the same dimensions of the original. Probably you may be thinking right now, what kind of learning type we use it for image segmentation? We can use all of them, but actually what matches perfectly is the supervised, because what we want is to give to the model a regular image, a usual image, and what we want is a segmented image. And when we talk about the data set we use to train those these models, we always have the pairs of what we have as the usual and what we call it the mask, which is the segmented image. So, for example, this first one here is the COCO dataset. It's a data set with several images with different locations. For example, a train station, a beach, animals, and people in, I don't know, some kind of party. And the idea is always provide with the mask, which already gave us the what is segmented, so the sky, the terrain, people, objects, animals, and that's the basic idea. And this pair of images is what we call ground truth. It's what we have. It's what we want our model to learn. Here we have the Kitty dataset. The Kitty dataset, it's a bit different from the COCO. The COCO dataset is more general, while the Kitty dataset, it's focused on streets, cars. Actually, it's because when they took those images, it was in a car, so that's why it's focused on this kind of image. And here we have their segmented images, like the street on this color, the car on red, the sky on this green, and here we have a tomography from the chest, and what we want to extract is only the lungs. So notice that we can have multi-segmentation, like on COCO and on Kitty, and we can have single segmentation, like on the chest tomography. This one I got from LIDC, I think is the correct name. And when we talk about the segmented image, we need to have ways to measure how good is our output. And usually, when we talk about AI, what we have is that 4 set of measures, of metrics: accuracy, precision, F1, and recall. But when we go to our image segmentation task, these 4 metrics are not that good. They are more supporters than a measure of the quality of our model. What we have instead is the Jacquard index, the dice score, and the Hausdorff distance. The Jacquard index and the dice score has the same equation. Both are the type of intersection over union. Intersection over union of the images produced by our model, and the image we have as ground truth, the preview mask we have here. So in fact, what we want is compare this mask with the mask generated by our model. The only difference between the Jacquard index and the dice score is the value of this constant. For Jacquard index, the constant takes the value of 1, and for dice score, the constant takes the value of 2. So with a value of 2 here, it ends up increasing the sensibility of the intersection. The other one we have is the Hausdorff distance. The Hausdorff distance is a bit different. It actually measures the distance between the pixel in the mask and the distance between the peaks in the what we have as ground truth and the output of our model. So this metric tries to find the pixel on the mask on the output model, and it takes the average distance to calculate its metrics. The most used is this two, because it's very simple to calculate, while the Hausdorff, it's very expensive in computing terms. Now I have to show to you the 2.5 demos I have for you. It's here. So here I have my Jupyter notebook, and I have a UNet example. So I'm creating my UNet example with TensorFlow with Keras. Both of them are Python libraries, and it's pretty simple because Keras actually have the layers, and we just need to create all the layers in a sequence. And here we have a UNet. So we have the input with an image with 96 by 128. We pass on the first convolutional layer, then the dimension is reduced, another convolutional layer until the end. And here we start increasing the dimensional, and we concatenate the output of conv5 with the output of conv4, this one. Conv5 has a lower dimension, and conv4 has a different dimension, and we match them up in order to increase the dimension. And this process goes on and on and on until we have in the end where we compile our model. And I got the summary here just for us to see how things are going on here. So we have the input layer, and we have this output shape. 96 by 28, one channel. 96 by 128, 32 channels. And how they are connected. And if you link the dots, you'll find out it's the same shape of the UNet. And goes on until the end. And here, at this column, we have the params that our network is learning, and we can actually, the network can update while training. This was more an example. Here I have the example of the Hugging Face. Hugging Face is it's like a GitHub, but it's focused only on you to share your model. Here I'm using the Bry RNBJ 1.4. It's very simple to use. Just install the library of Hugging Face with this model, and we can start using this pre-trained model. So basically, is a transformer pipeline, and I'm only instantiate the libraries to manipulate images like pillow and the request. So I have my image locally. Then I create the pipeline to receive this image. Actually, I'm telling the pipeline I want image segmentation, and I'm using this model here. Then I have my pillow mask, which is the output of the model. And here I have the image I want to extract from my model. So here I have my input image. We have this giraffe in open space with some other animals and some trees and sky, Here I have the mask produced by my model. Actually, my model on Hugging Faces. So here is the mask. It's a binary mask. It's only black and white, and I extracted only the giraffe. And as you can see, the output is not that good. There are some smoothy parts that probably are not part of this animal. And with this mask, we can extract only the part that we are interested. The other model I would like to show to you is the YOLO. YOLO is also a library in Python that we can instantiate, and they already have pre-trained models in case I'm using the YOLO SAG. Again, I'm using this path, this image, the bus JPG. I'm opening the image just to show to you the image I'm using to test. So we have a bus, we have people, we have a sidewalk, a building here, and we use the predict function with our image and the size of this image, and we put a confidence level here. Here is the output of our model. As you can see, there's a lot of class in the YOLO model. So we also have, for example, toothbrush, toaster, broccoli, the class of YOLO. Of course, these are not in the image. The original array of the image, and here we have the YOLO mask. So it's the produced output by YOLO model. As you can see, it segments the bus, so it finds the borders of the bus, and with a confidence of 85%, and people on this image. So this mask, this model was able to segment the bus and people. And basically, that's what I have to present to you guys. Any question? Yeah. Let's check now. I need to repeat. Yeah. So the question was how fast is to run those Jupyter Notebook cells. Let's try. So I tried this offline and it worked. So I don't expect any problem now. Yeah, for pre-trained models, it's pretty fast. But if you want to train your custom model, like if you want to use this UNet here in your custom dataset, to run a trained model, it's kind of fast, but to train, it can take much time depending on dimensions of your image. For example, here, I used custom UNet to segment the chest tomography. And here is the mask, it's not the output. But it took me about 5 hours to train 500 images. And yeah, it's a lot of time. And it was a low resolution image. It was 100 by 100. That's it. Any more questions? Cool. So the question is about if we pre-process the image, and these actually are techniques we can use. For pre-trained models, like I showed to you from YOLO or Hugging Faces, they actually have the standard that they expected the dimensions of the image. But for custom models like this one, actually, yes, we have to pre-process the image. This data set actually provide a high-resolution image with, I think it's 1,000 lines, 1,000 for 1,000 the image, and it's too much for the image. We don't need that much an image so high like this. We actually can reduce the dimension to something lower, 100 by 100. I pre-process this image in order to remove all the colors. I just want black and white. Actually, I just want, we don't need all the RGB channels. We just need levels of gray. And with this, we can process our image. There are other techniques like blur the image or make it a bit fuzzy, but for these I didn't use. I just reduce the dimension and make it everything gray. But we can use, and there are some papers that actually report some good results on doing this kind of stuff. Okay, that's a good question. The difference of time between the learning. The training. If you input an image with, for example, 1,000 by 1,000, it's a very huge image, and it will take a lot of time for the convolutional layer act over this image. If you have a lower image, the convolutional layer will take much less time to read what you have in the image. So the difference is too much when we have a data set composed by, I don't know, 1,000 images, 5,000 images, and these differences start making the time high, really high. Any more? Yeah. If it's possible to use that detection, yes, that's a good question. We can use this. And it actually, we can combine. The image segmentation algorithm actually is a combination of these things. So we can need first understand what we have, classify the object that we have there. Then we can apply an ad detection to make it easy. Like, okay, there's a lot of noise in this image. We can only find the borders of the train, the boat, people, and we can apply this as mask to support our AI algorithm to find and segment things. That's really good. Any more? Nope. So, thank you guys.